she had a haircut, and now we tried to make him look like a lion, but I don't think we did a very good job. Does she look like a lion to you? Yeah, she's not having fun today. Hello, city kids. It is now time for a story with Daisy. When I tell you a story and Daisy just sits here and whines. All right, we've been talking about Abraham, Isaac, and now we're going to talk about Isaac's children. So Abram is the very first guy that God asked to start God's nation with, God's country with, okay? So there's Abraham, and Abraham's son is Isaac, and Isaac married this girl named Rebecca, who also had trouble having a baby. So she prayed to God, and finally, after many years, she became pregnant with twins. Now, one thing interesting about Rebecca's pregnancy is that there was a lot of commotion going on in her womb, in her belly, while she was pregnant. And it was because the twins were fighting each other, apparently. And when she gave birth, Esau was the twin that came out first. And when he came out, he was super hairy, like he was a hairy baby. And that's why he was named Esau, because apparently that means hairy baby. And Jacob came out later. He was the younger of the two, and this is the interesting thing about Jacob, is that baby Jacob was holding the heel of his twin brother when he came out. And that's why he was named Jacob, which means heel grabber. Yeah, that's the way they used to name people. So Esau means hairy guy, and Jacob means heel grabber. Anyway, one interesting story, Isaac, Esau and Jacob's father, liked Esau, the older one, and Rebecca, the mother, preferred Jacob. So they favored different ones. And one time, Jacob was cooking a stew when Esau came back from hunting, because that's what he liked to do. And he said, "I am famished. Give me some of that stew." And Jacob said, "Nuh-uh. I will trade you for your birthright." Now, a birthright is something that they used to do in the ancient times, where the father blesses the oldest son before he dies. And this blessing was very important. And that was the birthright. And Jacob didn't have it because he was not the older son. And Esau said, "I'm starving to death. What does a birthright matter if I'm gonna die? Sure, you can have it." And Jacob said, "Swear it. Swear to God." And Esau said, "Okay, whatever. I'm starving. Give me some stew." And so Jacob gave him some food. Now later on, something very interesting happens again towards the end of their father's life, Isaac's life, because Isaac thought, okay, I'm about to die. I need to pass on the blessing to my older son. And so he called Esau and said, "Hey, go hunt me some game, make something tasty for me, and bring it to me so I can bless you before I die." And Rebecca, the wife of Isaac and the mother of the twins, overheard this and told Jacob, "Do what I tell you. Go get a couple of goats, and we're gonna make a tasty dish for your father, and you're gonna go in pretending to be your brother, your older brother." And so Jacob listened to his mother and did what she said. And so he goes to Isaac with this tasty dish. And also, because Esau was hairy, remember, Jacob had some goat hair on his hands and on his neck, and wore Esau's clothes. Wow, that's some serious deception there. And so he goes in, and Isaac is blind, their father. And Isaac says, Who is it? Oh, this is Esau, your older son, and I have brought some tasty meat for you. And Isaac says, you don't sound like my older son. Anyway, he gets this, to make a long story longer, he gets deceived, and Isaac blesses the wrong son because Jacob deceived him and deceived his father and his older brother and stole the blessing and the birthright. All right, so that's the interesting story about Jacob and Esau. All right, thanks for listening.
Our memory verse today comes from Genesis 27:35. Your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing.
Student King, can we get mine?
Student Mama. And Smart King.
Yes.
And Good Person. Happy Sabbath. Jacob and Esau and Counting Game.
With Teacher Gilly and the City Kids at Glendale City Church. For today's Sabbath School game, we're going to count some of the key characters in the Jacob and Esau story. When you count all the numbers, I want you to stand up and raise your hand and yell out the number. Now for our first question, how many family members were in Jacob and Esau's family?
4.
How many households were involved in this story?
There was one household.
How many brothers were there in this story?
Hey, there's 2 brothers, Jacob and Esau.
How many bowls of soup were being eaten when Esau sold his birthright for one of them?
There were 2 bowls, one for Jacob, one for Esau.
And lastly, how many birthrights were there for Isaac to give away to his sons?
There was only one birthright. Thank you for playing, guys.
See you next week.
Hey City Kids, Teacher Allison here. Today we learned about Jacob and Esau, who were the children of Isaac. Now Isaac was very old and he could barely see. He was nearly blind. So today we're going to be making blindfolds. All you will need is some string, some scissors, some paper, doesn't matter what color, and then something to color with. I'm going to be using colored pencils. If you've ever seen a sleep mask, that's the shape that we're going for. We're gonna draw an outline to help us for when we cut. Here, I'll show you the shape. Make sure that it's big enough to cover your eyes. Now, decorate your blindfold however you'd like. I'm going to draw eyeballs on mine, but you can put whatever you want. Once you're all done decorating, it's time to cut it out. Feel free to ask a parent for help. Now, we're gonna need to make some holes in the sides. So make a teeny tiny cut by folding it over. Again, it's okay to ask a parent for help. Whether you have string or yarn or even a shoelace, it's time to cut ourselves 2 pieces. They'll need to be long enough to wrap around your head. Take one of your strings, feed it through the tiny hole on one of the sides, then tie it to secure it. Then do the same with the other side. Hooray! Our blindfolds are done! You can put it on yourself, or you may need an adult to help you tie it to your head. There you have it, our homemade blindfold. And if you want, you can play a little game with a member of your household, have them find some objects around the house, put them in front of you, and test you. You'll only be able to use your hands to figure out what they are. If you can see out of the bottom of the blindfold, just close your eyes because it's no fun if you peek. very round. It's a little heavy. I think it's a battery. Am I right?
Yes.
What? Some sort of spoon, but it's square. Is this to measure things?
Yes.
I think I know what this is. I'm glad I'm right. It's an apple. It's a tennis ball. Bye, city kids.
Jacob was a sneaky lad. He wanted everything that Esau had. Even though he was a mama's boy, no one could deny he was especially coy. He tricked his brother with soup, he tricked his father with fur. Then he fled so fast he was gone in a blur. He tricked his brother with soup, he tricked his father with fur. Then he fled so fast he was gone in a blur. Many years later, Jacob felt bad. He wanted forgiveness from his brother and dad. He went to see Esau and brought him some gifts. Jacob was glad he wasn't welcome with this, because he tricked his brother with soup, he tricked his father with fur. Then he fled so fast he was gone in a blur. He tricked his brother with soup, he tricked his father with fur. Then he fled so fast he was gone in a blur.
Your brother came deceitfully, and he has taken away your blessing. Genesis 27:35.